This is a tutorial video for getting started using the class wiki. More advanced features will be shown in a separate tutorial. So for now, we'll look at getting started. So when you are on our class page, and you see there's not very much here on Sunday. So once you sign up, please use your CU email address. You can create whatever username you like. If you sign up from this page, it should add this already, but just in case, you can modify your profile. So you see I've created a different account so that this is going to look for you just like I'm looking at it now. This is not my master admin account. So you can post a picture, whatever you like. And remember, this is all public, so you might want to use a screen name or username. This is what I mean, that you should have this added to get back to our wiki. But yeah, bookmark the class page, and now what you want to look for is this contribute box up here on the right. So you can edit this main page. Please don't do that right now. That'll be one of the last things that we do as a class. Add photo, add video. Again, we'll do that later in the process. I'll have a separate tutorial for that. So add a page. You're ready to create a new page. What should you call this? Maybe for now, just create a page with your name. So test page 1, or, but I already created a couple pages, so, and you can change this later, don't worry about that. Now you have a page on our wiki, and you'll see that it's totally blank. Now here is the main text editor here that we're looking at. So I would suggest clicking around, becoming familiar with this. And what I've suggested is composing your draft entries in a separate document. So I will show you that in just a second. So the first thing, let's give it a heading, and we can also change the title as well. Let's say I'm going to create a page on, I'm in the participatory music group, and I want to create something about mashups. So because it made that heading with the formatting, you see here, that's where formatting comes into play following the wiki conventions. So click around and see what this looks like. A block quote would be good for literally giving a longer quote. Subheadings are good for sections of the page, as I'll show in a second. We don't have too many options as far as formatting, but you can use bold, italics, underline. This the command here is what you're going to want to use. Inserting media like a video or photo, a gallery, maybe a map if you want. Bulleted list, you see I use a lot of those in D2L, that's useful. Over here we have options. Something like keyboard shortcuts might be useful to you. You might want to check this out, for as you are composing, you can, Control B for bold, or the block quote. Save page as you are composing, that could be good. But yeah, check this out. A few of these options over here are going to be better for the editing process. For instance, adding links. So maybe not to worry about this in the drafting process, but we can go through and edit this later once we've all created pages. Or maybe you want to create a link right away. But something like creating links to pages within our wiki, we will want to do once we have all of your pages created. Another option on that note would be categories. Because we don't know in advance, we have a loose idea, but we'll have a better idea by the middle of the week what categories to add to your page here. So that's something that we'll go through and when we are editing each other's. Likewise, the table of contents. Right now, there's not anything to show, but we might want to show that later. So back to the main text editing. When you're in this view here, I mentioned having a separate document. So I just have a Google Doc here, and this might be useful for you, so you can share with me or with a classmate. You can have links and lists. So let's say I want to just grab this paragraph that I have on my page here. You see it's just going to be plain text. You can add links later. Likewise, I wouldn't worry about adding images later. Maybe just leave a note for yourself and for your classmates who are coming along checking your page. And one nice thing to keep in mind, copying and pasting from Google Docs, is that it will grab a list like this and copy it over. You won't have to create lists manually. That's where I was showing you with this insert bullet list, or numbered list if you like. So save the page. It's going to prompt you to mention what you edited. Now this is important when we come along and edit each other's pages. So over here, I'll just leave a little note. Added body text. Now later on, someone might make a note about that you changed my bulleted list to a numbered list, or got rid of a list, or added a link. Little notes like that are going to be good to see what happened to your page. So we can save that, and now you see you have a page. So each of us is going to have 2 of these. Now I created one just a moment ago. So you'll be able to see your own pages here, as well as the changes, as I mentioned about the activity. It tracks all of that. You'll see here about creating a page, changing, and that's where I said leave a little note about adding the text or changing the title. So when you get back to our front page, you will see the latest activity appear automatically, and it will also add our pages. We don't have categories right now. We'll have to figure this out toward the end, as well as a table of contents, but you can at least see the recently changed pages. So if you're wondering about how to get back to your pages, you might want to add them here, just for a quick reference. This is on the profile page, so click the avatar. So you want to add the pages that you have created. You'll also have this following page. This it keeps track of automatically. So this first page that I created, at the very bottom here, there's this following. If you can see this in the bottom left, follow and unfollow. So you can follow classmates' pages later, especially in the certain sections or topics, if you want to keep track of each other's. So just click this follow in the very bottom, and it will add that to your watch list. So when you log in, when you come back a day later, this is a page you might want to come to from the start. It looks a little different. It's a little unusual. Like I said, if you click around, you get used to it. You can see the history of the pages. So if anyone does change it, whether it's a classmate or someone else random on the site, who knows, or in the future, a future class, for instance. But if you want to get back to the page, and you'll see the revisions here, and this will come into play later in the editing process. So finally, I would suggest that if you're wondering how to format, you see it creates the auto contents because I used that heading. That's a good trick, a tip to remember. You might want to have, let's say I made this a separate section down here. Yeah, maybe I could give this a new heading. Let's see what happens. So change this from paragraph up here to heading, or maybe subheading. We'll see what happens here. So that just created a section heading, not like the big heading at the top here. But yeah, feel free to play around with that. Anything that you change can be restored. We'll go through several draft revision stages, particularly with adding images and links. That'll be in a separate tutorial. But for now, just become comfortable with the composing, drafting, editing features. I think you'll get the hang of it. It's pretty basic here. Finally, the one last thing I'll show you, if you're wondering what the pages should look like, My suggestion would be to browse, go to the main Wikia page, and just browse some of their pages and see what the other ones look like. So these are full wikis, so that's the same that we are creating. If you want to see what a page looks like, you might want to click through to individual pages. So here you can see what a typical page is, or a very popular page for that matter, and what viewers come to expect in terms of formats. You see, it's pretty similar to Wikipedia, but some crucial differences as well. Now, a couple things to point out right away. The last thing I was just showing you, the section headings and the subsection headings. Those are important for formatting as well as linking. You can link to the subsections here. So I could learn quite a bit from this page, especially this content box here as well as the links. So that's what I'm saying when you compose a draft page and then later on we can add links. So something like this links to the Kendrick Lamar page within the Taylor Swift Wikia site. It's not an external link to like Kendrick Lamar's website. So we might want to do something similar where you link to a classmate's, create a link on a classmate's page to your page. Could be a good idea. So another way of seeing some different sites on Wikia is all the way at the very bottom, random wiki, or you can choose these hubs. It's one of the reasons I have chosen Wikia for us, organized by the cultural forms. So there's the music hub, there is movies, TV, comics, books, games, lifestyle. So click through and see what wiki topics are already out there. Also at the very bottom, if you click random wiki, now I have no idea what it's going to turn up here, so let's find out. But you might find something of interest to you stylistically that you want to kind of model your page on that. And that's the idea that viewers of our site could see that as well. So if you're looking for that button, it's at the bottom here, random wiki. Something like Logopedia. Totally random, but here's a good example of what I said about learning from sites. They have an image gallery right here. That's really cool. That's something that I probably would want to model my page on. So looking around, browsing for composition lessons is strongly recommended. Not that you need to spend hours and hours scrolling through Wikia, but you might find that very useful, especially because we're trying to create something that's going to last, and it doesn't matter if we get 10 visitors or 10,000 visitors, but we don't want someone to come along and delete our pages, because especially if it doesn't conform visually, stylistically, accessibly with links and images. We'll work on this more in the later part of the process, which I'll go over later. But for now, this should get you started. You should be able to paste any of your drafted materials onto your page. As always, let me know if I can clarify or elaborate anything, and I will be glad to help.